Let's cut right to the chase. Welcome to this explainer, where we are diving into what I call the tailored fit. Today we are cracking the code on Cambridge Computer Science and IT exam strategy. Whether you're sitting syllabus 0417, 0478, 2210, 9618, or our specific focus today, the notoriously tricky 9626 IT paper, grasping the art of exam strategy is just as crucial as mastering your technical content. Today we're putting a magnifying glass on Section 5.2, Uses of Malware. We're talking fraud, theft, industrial espionage, and sabotage. But listen, we're not just reviewing textbook definitions here. We are fixing a massive problem. I want you to picture two typical students sitting their Cambridge papers right now. First, we have Alex. Alex is a walking, talking computer science encyclopedia. When a question asks about malware, Alex panics, overloads the page with raw facts, listing every virus since 1999, but provides absolutely zero analysis. Then we have Sam. Sam is a speed demon. Sam rushes through the paper, completely misses the command word requirements, and writes one rushed sentence that completely ignores the context. Both Alex and Sam walk out thinking they nailed it. But when results day comes, they're staring at a C instead of an A star. Think of your exam answer like a bespoke suit. A generic off-the-rack answer might cover your basic needs, but it's sloppy, it doesn't fit, and it's going to cost you valuable marks. Top-tier candidates, they act like master tailors. They look at the exact dimensions of the scenario provided in the question, and they tailor their answer perfectly. No loose threads. By the end of this session, you're going to have the exact blueprint to transform from a raw fact dumper into a high-scoring, precise examiner's dream. Let's get into it.
Look at this quote. This isn't just my opinion. This is a direct, blaring alarm pulled right from the Cambridge Principal Examiner reports. The examiners are practically begging you to listen. They clearly state that the classic mistake, the number one reason students like Alex and Sam lose marks, is providing generic answers that ignore the context. Imagine a 9-mark exam scenario asking you to evaluate the threat of industrial espionage for a pharmaceutical company developing a new, highly classified vaccine. Alex sees the word malware and immediately writes a massive paragraph defining worms, trojans, and logic bombs. It's a great textbook definition, but it gets practically 0 marks. Why? Because there's no analysis of the pharmaceutical context. There's no mention of intellectual property, vaccine formulas, or competing research labs. Sam, on the other hand, understands it's a pharma company, but rushes and completely misses the command word evaluate. Sam just describes what a hacker is. Again, massive point loss. Both of these approaches involve hard work and studying, but they completely fail to tailor the answer to the scenario. This examiner alert is your ultimate warning. If you do not link every single point you make to the specific real-world scenario sitting in front of you, you are literally leaving marks on the table for someone else to grab.
So how do we fix it? Here is our exact battle plan for mastering both the conceptual and procedural frameworks for Section 5.2. We are going to expose the classic mistake, lay down the core principles of high-level answers, unlock the hidden method mark strategy, run through an interactive workshop to deconstruct and solve real problems, and finish off with some brutal examiner warnings you absolutely must avoid.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1. We really need to dissect this classic mistake so you understand exactly what the generic trap looks like and, more importantly, how to vault right over it.
Before we continue, subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon right now. Okay, let's talk about this generic answer trap. Let's say the exam asks how malware could be used for fraud in an online banking system. If you write, malware is malicious software designed to disrupt or gain unauthorized access. Congratulations, you just wrote a generic fact. You're Alex in this scenario. The examiner is yawning. Instead, a tailored answer takes the context, online banking, and actively applies the concept. This is where top students use the PEAL framework. That stands for point, evidence, explanation, and link. Your point: cybercriminals use specific malware for direct financial fraud. Your evidence: they deploy keyloggers or banking trojans. Your explanation: this software secretly captures user keystrokes to steal login credentials and intercept two-factor authentication codes. And finally, the link. This allows the attacker to bypass the bank's security protocols and drain the customer's account, fulfilling the criteria for fraud. Do you see the night and day difference there? One is a rote dictionary definition. The other is a targeted, surgical analysis of the prompt. You have to decode the command words. If the paper says analyze or evaluate, reciting facts won't save you.
Moving on to Section 2, Core Principles. Now that we know what not to do, let's look at how the top 1% of candidates actually design that perfect, tailored fit. The Cambridge academic benchmarks explicitly prioritize analytical depth over superficial breadth. What does that mean? Superficial breadth is Alex writing 12 scattered bullet points about different viruses that barely scratch the surface. Analytical depth is writing 3 incredibly dense, perfectly structured paragraphs using that Peel framework we just talked about. Let's do a live transformation. Imagine a scenario about sabotage in an automated car manufacturing plant. Alex writes, hackers can use malware to break the factory computers and cause damage. Lots of red pen marks on that one. It's too superficial. Now let's transform it into green check marks. We state the direct threat, provide technical evidence, detail the impact, and link to the context. A deep answer looks like this. A malicious actor could deploy a logic bomb within the plant's centralized manufacturing execution system. Once triggered by a specific date, this malware could alter the robotic assembly code, causing the robotic arms to misalign chassis welding. This not only causes immediate operational shutdown and massive financial loss, but introduces severe safety liabilities for the final vehicles. Boom! You just proved exactly how and why the malware is a critical threat in that highly specific manufacturing context. That is analytical depth.
Earning top marks is all about transferability. You need to demonstrate evidence-based reasoning that allows you to transfer your understanding of, say, malware theft into completely unfamiliar contexts. Let's look at Sam. Sam knows about spyware, but struggles to apply it to a new scenario about a hospital database. Sam writes, spyware steals data from the hospital. Rushed and totally missing the mark. We need a connected, conceptual understanding. Let's fix Sam's answer. We systematically analyze the threat. Spyware poses a critical risk to the hospital by silently installing itself via targeted phishing emails sent to administrative staff. It logs keystrokes to capture system passwords, allowing attackers to exfiltrate highly confidential electronic health records. This directly violates data protection regulations, risking heavy legal fines and severe reputational damage to the healthcare provider. By transferring the core technical concept of spyware into the unfamiliar medical context and tracking the real-world consequences, you showcase the exact analytical mindset the examiners are hunting for.
All right, Section 3. We're diving into the method mark strategy. This is literally about earning points for your academic process, and it's the biggest secret weapon in the Cambridge syllabus.
Stop scrolling. Subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. We've helped thousands of students improve by 2-3 grade boundaries. Join them right now by subscribing to at acetheexams_IGCSE and turn on all notifications so you never miss our weekly exam strategy sessions. Now let's talk about method marks. In these advanced papers, especially in 9626, it is not just about the final answer, it is heavily about how you get there. The method mark strategy essentially rewards you for behaving like a professional IT consultant. This means you get points for strict adherence to conventions. If you use elite technical vocabulary, saying data exfiltration instead of stealing data, or social engineering instead of tricking people, you instantly trigger method marks. If a prompt asks for your evaluation in the format of an IT security report and you just write a standard English essay, you are bleeding marks. Proper headings, logical paragraph breaks, correct terminology, and clear annotations all literally add points to your score. It is the easiest way to boost your grade because it doesn't require memorizing more facts, it just requires formatting the facts you already have in your head.
Okay, welcome to the interactive workshop part of this explainer. We're putting the theory into practice. To capture every method mark, you must follow these 5 steps: deconstruct, extract, select, execute, and present. Let's do challenge 1, the data scan. Imagine a complex data table pops up on your screen. I'm putting 60 seconds on a virtual clock in your head right now. The table shows a massive 400% spike in ransomware infections in a corporate network over a 48-hour period, and it's broken down by department. If you just stare at the raw numbers, you'll panic. But let's follow step 2 and extract the relevant data. 30 seconds left. Look closely at the timeline. What do you see? The infection didn't start everywhere at once. It started specifically in the Human Resources Department on a Monday morning at 9 a.m. Now apply step 3, your analytical framework. Why HR? Because HR constantly receives external emails with PDF resumes attached. They are the prime target for phishing. The core trend you need to write about isn't just malware went up, it's that the network was compromised via a socially engineered phishing campaign targeting the externally facing HR department, delivering a ransomware payload that then moved laterally across the internal network. Time's up. See how deconstructing the scenario completely changes the quality of your answer? Let's keep this momentum going into Section 4, Deconstruct and Solve, where we apply the critical analysis cycle to secure those high-tier evaluation marks. This 5-step cycle is your lifeline for the heavy 8 to 12 mark questions in Section 5.2. We are moving to Challenge 2, Find the Flaw. I'm going to give you a scenario and a flawed student recommendation, and you have 60 seconds to spot why it loses marks. Scenario:
A tech startup is facing severe industrial espionage. Competitors are using remote access Trojans to steal proprietary source code. The student writes this recommendation. To stop the espionage, the company should completely disconnect all developer workstations from the internet to ensure hackers cannot access the internal network. Clock is ticking. What's the flaw here? Look at step 4 on the cycle. Check for reasonableness. Does that recommendation pass the reality test? No way. In a modern tech startup, banning internet access for software developers is absolutely absurd. They wouldn't be able to push updates, access cloud repositories, or do their jobs. It shows a complete lack of real-world IT understanding, and the examiner will ruthlessly dock marks for it. A systematic, justified recommendation would instead suggest implementing strict network segmentation, enforcing mandatory multi-factor authentication, and utilizing endpoint detection and response systems. This mitigates the espionage threat while allowing business operations to continue. Always, always check your recommendations against reality.
Let's hit Challenge 3, speed writing. When an exam asks you to perform a comparative analysis, you must use comparative connectives to identify similarities before pivoting to differences, backed by evidence. You have 30 seconds. Think about how you would compare sabotage versus theft using malware. Ready? Go. Here's how a top student structures it using the Peel framework under pressure. While both sabotage and theft rely on gaining unauthorized system access, their primary operational objectives fundamentally differ. There's your similarity and pivot. Sabotage, utilizing disruptive tools like ransomware or logic bombs, aims to cause immediate operational paralysis and extort the victim. Conversely, great connective word there, theft employs stealthy tools like spyware or hidden Trojans. It requires a prolonged, undetected presence within the network to continuously exfiltrate valuable intellectual property over months. Time's up. Notice how tight that is? No waffling. Similarity, pivot, difference, technical evidence for both. That is speed writing perfection.
We are in the final stretch. Section 5, Examiner Warnings. Let's pull back the curtain and look at the top pitfalls that continually destroy candidates' grades year after year. These are direct warnings from the people grading your papers. Let's build your ultimate survival cheat sheet based on these 3 warnings. Rule number 1, command word decoding. If the prompt says evaluate, you cannot just describe. Vague details make it look like you're guessing. You need exact, technical terminology. Rule number 2, Peel framework application. Never write a point without evidence, an explanation, and a link back to the context. That solves the answers are not specific warning permanently. Rule number 3, the time management matrix. Do not spend 20 minutes writing a beautiful, sprawling essay for a 4-mark question. Look at the marks available, extract the data, solve systematically, apply your presentation conventions to grab those method marks, and move on. If you apply these 3 rules, you are practically guaranteeing yourself access to the top mark bands. As we wrap up, I want you to ask yourself this question every time you look at a past paper. Are you leaving loose threads of generic, memorized information, or are you tailoring every single answer to perfectly fit the specific scenario? Students who implement these computer science strategies see an average improvement of 2 grade boundaries, but only if they practice consistently with our weekly videos. Here's your final reminder. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams at acexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Subscribe right now to Ace the Exams_IGCSE and click that bell. Don't let another exam pass you by. Drop a comment below with your target grade for computer science and the biggest challenge you're facing. Our team responds to every comment. Like and share this video with a study partner. Ace the Exams, your Cambridge success starts here. Catch you in the next explainer.